or afternoon, I guess. I don't know, whatever time of day it is, guys. In this station, we are talking about main idea. And main idea is what a chunk of text or even the entire text that you're reading is about. When we call it a text, you might also hear it be called a passage or an excerpt, which means taking a part out of a text. Main idea is what something is mostly about. You might also hear what is it mainly about. But there are other ways to ask main idea questions as well that you will see in some of the questions that will be asked today. When you are thinking about main idea, sometimes there are ways to help you find the main idea, and you can see that here on this chart. When you're building a paragraph, you want to have a main idea sentence. We call that a topic sentence, and you've got details, and we see that in the pizza here. Some of the details would be your pepperoni and your mushrooms and your gross olives, but you want to have at least 3 details in a paragraph. How do you find the main idea? Well, some ways that you might would be looking at the title and the headings, but sometimes there's not going to be a title and headings if it's an excerpt. You can look at the pictures. Sometimes there are pictures, sometimes there's not. In today's passage, there won't be. Look for words used more than once. Reread the first and last sentence. And then I added this over here. If you're really struggling, go back and say, well, what is the subject of each sentence? Like, what is the sentence about and what are they doing? Okay, because the main idea is what is mostly happening and what subject is mostly about in that paragraph. If that even made sense, did it? I'm not sure. Anyway, we're about to do number 1 together. Let's go ahead and read this paragraph, this excerpt, this passage, and then we'll take a look at the questions. And actually, we'll read the question first, and then we'll read the passage, and then we will think about the strategy that I just went over. Okay, question that is asked is, this passage is mainly about A, a strange signal that was detected last month, B, the plans to find a signal, so we hear that word signal twice, originating near Saturn. The difference between those two is B is about plans to find the signal, and A is just about the strange signal, right? C, the construction of a space station located near Saturn. So that's a very different topic. This is talking about a space station. The A and B were about a signal. And D is a long, grueling trip to the Orion constellation. You may not know what grueling means. I'll tell you, it means like very difficult, very challenging. So D is about a trip. So we can kind of think about, okay, A and B are both about signals. C is about a space station and the construction of that space station. D is about a trip. Let's go ahead and read the passage. November 3rd, 2270. So this is obviously in the future. We left a base near Saturn to discover the origins of a strange signal from deep in space. First decoded last month on satellites that have left the solar system, the signal is programmed into small musical beats. So far, let me just pause. What I notice is this is about a signal. I see that first sentence has the word signal, and the second sentence has the word signal. So that kind of clues me in. Okay, now I'm on this third sentence. You go ahead and put a little highlighted mark so you know where we are. We believe the signal has originated from a star within the Orion constellation cluster. So again, we have that word signal. I heard that again. Although the likelihood that we will come close to the cluster on our mission is remote, we hope to send a deep space probe in that direction. So the word that is a pronoun taking the place of the word signal in the direction of the signal. That probe should arrive at the cluster sometime next autumn. So looking at the strategies from the last slide, there are no titles and headings, so that doesn't help. There are no pictures, so that doesn't help. There are words used more than once. We see the word signal is repeated. Okay, the word probe is also repeated. I saw that a couple times. Okay, they're talking about sending a probe in the direction of the signal. Okay, what other word did I see repeated? Do you guys see anything else? I don't see anything else that's very obvious and jumping out at me, so we did that one. Okay, we'll reread the first and last sentence. We left a base near Saturn to discover the origins of a strange signal from deep in space. That probe should arrive at the cluster sometime next autumn. So that kind of helped remind me that what it was about a signal and that they're sending a probe in the direction of the signal to, what were they doing that for? It said, we hope to send a deep space probe in that direction so that they'll come close to the cluster where the signal is from. So that's what they're doing about the signal. Now, the subject of each sentence, we already kind of did that. The first sentence was about a signal. Let me get a different color here so we can go over that again. The second sentence was about the signal and how they had decoded it. The first sentence was how they found it or they heard about it. The third sentence talks about where the signal originated, but it's still about a signal. The next sentence was about how they're going to be moving their mission toward that cluster, but they probably won't get to it. So they're going to send a probe in the direction of the signal. And then the last sentence is about the probe that they're sending, and they're hoping that the probe gets there next autumn. So we did that. So let's take a look again at our answer choices. A strange signal that was detected last month. Now I know it is about that. The first sentence is about that, right? But no other sentence, well, the second sentence is also kind of about that. It talks about what the signal was like, how they decoded it. But only 2 sentences out of the 3, 4, 5 sentences are about that. So only 2 out of 5, that's not what it's mostly about. It's a little bit about that though. The plans to find a signal originating near Saturn, that's a couple sentences too. That's the second part of that. Okay. The construction of a space station located near Saturn, that's not about that at all. A long grueling trip to the Orion constellation, it's not about that at all either. There's only 1 sentence about that. So that brings me to A, a strange signal that was detected last month, or B, the plans to find a signal originating near Saturn. So if I think about it, the plans to find the signal are also about the strange signal, like finding it, going and finding that signal. It's also about this strange signal that was detected. This whole paragraph is about the strange signal that was detected last month. So your answer should be A, okay? Not B, okay, not B, not C, and not D. All right, go ahead and answer it and try going through your next couple questions just like we did here together. Good luck. Do great things, okay?